Listen, we have a really special guest with us right now, somebody I've been following for 20 years, got to know him a little bit. This is Breaking Point on Real America's Voice News, channel 219 on Dish Network, channel 240 on Pluto.tv. We're on Comcast, Roku TV, Apple TV. You can catch us everywhere. The network's exploding. There's so much going on. They're trying to silence the conservative voices. Everybody, I want to welcome to the show the host of the Wilkow Majority, Andrew Wilkow. Andrew, how are you today?
Good. And when was the last time I saw you at the Air Power Museum on Long Island for that veteran fundraiser? You had two individuals,
yes.
Very brave men from Wounded Warrior Project, and you asked me to speak. My wife and I came, and I think I only needed like 5 minutes. It was a great event.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we had about 400 people show up. I did a lot of fundraising for the Wounded Warrior, but then I moved on to be executive director of this American Patriot Heroes Fund, where we took like double, triple amputees and gave them services to see their families over the holidays and gave them plane tickets and limo rides and took them to Capitol Hill to lobby on their behalf. But, you know, you had me on the show with Aaron Lewis and a bunch of other guys for the lead singer of Stain. That was phenomenal. He did an acoustic concert for us. That was a wonderful day.
Yeah, no, look, I've been friends with Aaron for well over a decade. He is committed to all things conservative and, of course, veterans' causes. And just it's good to have a couple friends in the music business, right? I mean, when you have an industry that leans so heavy left, or at least the people that might be somewhat conservative scared into silence, it's nice to have a guy like Aaron who's, I'll say libertarian. I don't want to box him in. A libertarian in the music industry who's not afraid to hang out with, us conservatives.
Well, recently I've befriended Larry Romano, who was Richie the firefighter from The King of Queens, and he was also the son of Al Pacino and Donnie Brasco. And he's a libertarian, but he's speaking out for free speech, big Trump supporter, and he got out of Hollywood and moved to St. Louis. He's originally from New York. And, so there's a few of them out there. I wanted to, speaking of New York, I just wanted to talk about, my kids live in Chelsea, the Upper West Side. I hate what I see. The whole Lower East Side smells like waste and weed. It's really tragic.
But hasn't it always?
Yeah, it always did, yeah. Alphabet City. But my point is that only 14% of offices are filled again since last February. And all these small businesses, the sub shops and, small businesses that support, these office locations are getting crushed, and a lot of people are relocating. How do we fix it? And is anybody here to help us?
You can't really see much in the background here. I'm in a satellite studio myself. I'm not in my usual studio in Midtown Manhattan. I mean, if you watch Fox and Friends, you see the background. That's the McGraw-Hill building. We're on the 37th floor. That's where Sirius XM is, and that's where my studios are. But they've fanned us all out. So, I can imagine if it's in the media industry, it's throughout many industries. Finance. I mean, a lot of these guys can work from home. They could sit at a computer at an expensive piece of real estate on Avenue of the Americas or Fifth Avenue, Lexington, Madison, down on Wall Street, wherever, or they could sit at a computer terminal at home. The market still works, right? I myself have talked to my bosses about moving my program from the New York City headquarters to our Nashville facility, which is right in the heart of downtown Nashville, Tennessee. Now, look, I have my little mug here. Capitalism is boss. When you make it impossible for somebody to operate a business, whether it's New York or anywhere else, they're going to pick up and leave. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's a buyer's market right now. Maybe if I were 25 years younger than I am and I was more adventurous and I wanted, the excitement of Manhattan, I would say, hey, wait a second. It might get cheaper to live there as time goes on. I don't know. But I am not a real estate speculator. I have no idea what the future of New York City is. But when you couple the out of control taxes, a mayor like Bill de Blasio, people like Christine Quinn, the insane uptick in crime and homelessness, when you have failing public schools, and you're not getting your dollar's worth for your taxes. Your cost of living is going up. Your quality of life is going down. You know what? People are going to pick up and leave. It's not going to be everybody, but it's going to be a lot of people.
Yeah, I think it's a near fatal wound what's happened. I had Giuliani on a year ago before the COVID, and he was basically crying almost. He teared up at what de Blasio did to New York City. And now shootings are up 110%, murders are up 40% since the COVID. It's like a double hit, right? It's a triple, and then you have bail reform. It's like a triple hit. I feel like Snake Plissken in Escape from New York sometimes when I'm in the city, and I hope it's not like that in 10 years or 5 years and that we can get it. But what Giuliani did was gave federal loan guarantees to builders to take the risk to go into Harlem, 116th and Lenox, Coney Island, Fulton Avenue, Brooklyn, and they took the risk, and I don't see any of those economic incentives going on right now.
It's the opposite with de Blasio. It's the opposite.
It's the opposite.
It's almost like a penalty if you try to add apartments to the city or you try to open a business. It's like, how dare you try to profit here in this hotbed of communism and bourgeois socialism?
Yeah, I think there's going to be more socialistic policies, and I bet you they're going to start taking over some of these buildings that are empty and start giving low-income housing and all kinds of stuff. Let's see what happens with that. We have a picture of Andrew Cuomo. I'm sorry to do this to our audience. If we do, and if not, I want to talk about the latest information from the New York State Department of Health and the Attorney General Letitia James, which I can't believe she came out with this because she's such an anti-Trumper, an anti-conservative. They're kind of eating their own right now. Nursing home deaths, maybe 15,000 people in New York State. What do you say about that?
Well, first of all, it wouldn't be the first time somebody reached up the ladder to pull somebody off by their ankle, right? Especially in the Democrat Party. So she just might be doing the Democrats a favor before Cuomo thinks about running for 2024, because he was a disaster of a HUD secretary and he's a disaster of a governor. And everybody knows the only reason why his name is a name is because Mario Cuomo was supposed to be the great left-wing answer to Ronald Reagan. And then he never ran because everybody knew that there was some broken nose connections in his past. So he cut a nice little deal and introduced a hick Arkansas governor to the Upper West Side of Manhattan set. And in exchange, his kid became the HUD secretary, which gave us the housing bubble. Now we watch this man wax on night after night about Trump this and Trump that. It was Cuomo who wrote that executive order all by himself in March 25th of 2020, forcing assisted living facilities to take in COVID positive patients. It wasn't Trump, it was Cuomo. Trump delivered the Navy, Trump delivered the National Guard, Samaritan's Purse delivered a mobile hospital annex in Central Park. Everybody tried to help the state of New York, and all Cuomo did was sit around and says, "Where are my ventilators?" Well, I got news for you, and I don't know if you've ever done a deep dive into this. We have on my radio program, there was multiple reports that were commissioned by the city, the state, and the federal government. You remember when they released those inert gases in 2015 or 2016 through Times Square? They were studying bioterrorism. They handed Andrew Cuomo a report. Here's how many ventilators you're going to need. Here's how many mobile hospital capabilities you're going to need. This is how much PPE you should stock up on. And he did none of it. Even ProPublica, George Soros' outlet, has called him out for this. He was busy campaigning on funding transgender yoga or something. Same thing for de Blasio. These guys did this, and they can't run from it anymore.
Well, that is true, and I remember that came out a little bit in the beginning of COVID, and then it disappeared, that report, right, that said we needed all this equipment, and then we didn't even use... Yeah.
Let me just say this. I'm no fan or friend of Mike Bloomberg, but the report there are reports that Bloomberg wanted every single measure, every base covered, every T crossed, every I dotted. He stocked up on Tamiflu in case there was a standard flu outbreak in the city. Bloomberg might be an elitist word I can't use on this program, but he at least was a competent man, right? He was a competent individual. I disagree with him on civil liberties, on privacy issues, on whether or not I can have salt on my food, but he was a competent man. Once he left office, it all went downhill.
Yeah, it's truly incredible. De Blasio, who worked for the Russians and the Sandinistas in Nicaragua while the Russians were mining the harbors of Managua. He was like, Commandant. So I wanted to just shift gears for a minute. I know you got to go do your show in a little bit.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm in the studio. I'm ready to go.
I got to tell you, I feel, and I was on the ground traveling with the White House press pool, Trump rallies, with Real America's Voice News, the most wonderful events ever. We're tired of being told we're bad people for being good people, and we're tired of being called ISIS and Al-Qaeda, and I lost one of my best friends in 9/11, and these people are despicable. And I think it's more of a fight against institutional bureaucracy and the gravitas of like this pension system that people will do anything to protect. Just in closing, could you just tell me what you think? Are we under assault? Is there a threat to voices like you and the right?
Yeah, I am very privileged and very lucky and very blessed in my career to work for a company that, if you don't like Sirius XM Patriot, there's Sirius XM Progress. We have POTUS, we have Urban View, we have Sports Talk, Comedy Talk. I am blessed. Can I speak for some of the other companies, my brethren? No, I do feel that there is an effort out there using this January 6th event that nobody has supported. Everybody that I know has said people broke the law, they should be charged. They're using this as a moment to say, well, talk radio, conservatives are spreading lies and promoting insurrection and sedition. The hell are you talking about? We talk about the Constitution, history, taxes. We talk about all things that are happening. That's why they call it news talk. I don't know a single person with a platform and a microphone that actually encouraged any of this. As a matter of fact, I actually say it often. We're all about talk. I don't want Americans killing one another. I don't want Americans, revolting and starting a hot civil war in this country. Yeah, we've crossed our arms and turned our backs on each other, but that's how politics works. And now you've got people who supported Antifa, supported the riots in the cities, defund the police, have burned the American flag. They want to turn around and treat us like we're the outsiders and they're the default position here. I don't accept that, but there is an effort. You've got people in these major news networks that are saying, how do we finally get rid of the people who stand to make us look bad? And I know we got to wrap this up, but I'll give you one example. If you go through this latest COVID relief bill, you go through any of it, you'll find there's $111 million in there for the Sudan, $505 million for Central American nations, $25 million to get rid of Asian carp. I thought we had starving people in this country. Feed them Asian carp. Nobody on the major networks is pointing the finger at these Democrats, once again, putting all of their pork barrel projects into an emergency bill and trying to ram it through with reconciliation. They don't even want to debate this on the Senate floor. But if it wasn't for us, nobody'd be talking about it.
Yeah, and there's double standard, Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, they can say the most outrageous things.
Some people did something.
It's really awful, but, we're not looking to silence the left, but the left is looking to silence the right. Andrew, we have to go to a hard break. I want to thank you so much, and I will see you at CPAC probably, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, everybody, go and listen to the Wilkow Majority every day. Andrew is a national treasure in the media, and he's getting the truth out. So, what's going on is very scary. But, those of us in the media who say are conservative pundits, we're not looking to shut down free speech. We've never said to anybody on the left, you can't say that, but we challenge them when they did. But what's going on right now is they want to sanitize, they want to purge in a Stalin-esque fashion people on the right, people who are conservative voices. When we come back, we got Jennifer Kearns from All American Radio. Thank you so much for joining us. This is David Zere. You're watching Breaking Point on Real America's Voice News.